Welcome back to the News at 10. Former chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, Professor Chidi Odinkalu, says he's not satisfied with the way the president and his deputy managed the issue of their assets declaration. I beg your pardon, that with the vice president managed the issue of their asset declaration. He says, contrary to the president, during the election, Nigerians were unable to determine the exact asset status of the two top officials. He also responded to British Prime Minister David Cameron's comment describing Nigeria as fantastically corrupt.
The current president himself has, at least on the question of corruption, shown integrity and will. I have to say I did disagree and continue to disagree with the way in which their assets declaration was managed. I don't think they have kept faith with their campaign promise to publish their assets, and I do think that it is necessary in order to fight corruption effectively to make sure that the assets of all senior public officers are visited with the oxygen of transparency. Nigeria is over 178 million people. How can anybody talk about Nigeria being corrupt? That does not mean there are not individuals and people who are corrupt. But when you also look at the records, you see that we've not been able to convict people for corruption in a long time, and therefore there is a problem. We had an Inspector General of Police, Tafa Balogu, who is a senior lawyer, who was convicted of plundering police assets. But the Nigerian legal profession didn't do anything against him. He's still a lawyer on roll, and he's able to practice. In the United States, when President Nixon resigned because of Watergate, he was what? He was disbarred by the New York and California bars. When President Bill Clinton went through his episode in relation to impeachment in the 1990s, he was disbarred. But here, people get convicted for crimes of corruption and they get away with it. So I think it's important that we retain proportionality. We don't go into overdrive on these matters. We understand that Nigeria is a very diverse country with very proud people, most of whom are honest people and whom every one of us in public service, particularly the president, must respect.
Former chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, Professor Chidi Odinkalu, and his thoughts there on the president declaring his assets. So take it further now from where Professor Odinkalu stopped during the London Anti-Corruption Summit. The consensus was that world leaders would give more bites to tackling corruption at all levels. But of interest to President Muhammadu Buhari is that all monies looted and stashed abroad be returned for investment into critical areas of the Nigerian economy. To discuss the outcome of the summit, I'm being joined on the News at 10 now by a former director in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Gani Lawal. Dr. Lawal, thank you for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you for having me.
The president was among key world leaders who attended that anti-corruption summit in London. Did we benefit anything from that summit, do you think?
Yeah, we did benefit a lot from that conference. But I'm going to look at the London Anti-Corruption Summit from the perspective of foreign policy direction of the federal government. The president has left no one in doubt as to the direction of his foreign policy initiative, which is to seek the support of our community in order to fight the challenges at home, namely corruption, insecurity, and infrastructure. So the benefits from all those trajectory in the international arena is that right now the United States has promised to return 350 million to Nigeria. The United Kingdom government is bringing 40 million to fight Boko Haram. And I take that along with the 6 billion investment, coming from China, as a result of the president's effort. So I am satisfied that for the first time in many years, the foreign policy of Nigeria is being targeted to solve internal problems.
Okay, and the president is very interested, of course, in the return of stolen money, stolen assets outside, as he told world leaders that he wants those funds that are deposited in foreign banks to be returned to Nigeria. How cooperative should we expect these countries to be in this regard?
Yes, we expect them to be cooperative in the sense that there has been an international acknowledgement of the fact that corruption is a serious challenge to Nigeria. And the Nigerian president has brought the issue of corruption to the front burner of the international community. If you go by the response or the comments made by the British Prime Minister, who is the leader of the financial capital of the world, it's an acknowledgement that Nigeria is facing a serious issue, of corruption. And if he has acknowledged that, and the president's reply was that, yes, there's corruption. We are all in it together. Please bring back our cash. That is a fantastic reply to the comments of David Cameron.
And I remember the British Prime Minister saying that Britain would also work to produce a register with the names of and properties of those who have properties of those who got wealth illegally and who have sent them, to the United Kingdom and have used them to buy property and so on. And the Nigerian government also said that they will be doing so. President Buhari said he will be doing a name and shame on May 29th. But what should be our strategy? I mean, these are all promises, and we're used to promises being made at meetings like this. How do we ensure that we hold these leaders to their word? How do we keep reminding them so that they fulfill their promise and return the monies as they said they will?
Yeah, you see, the international community is a very sensitive community. When they make commitments, they want to follow it through. The fact that they made this commitment, our own strategy should be to make sure that every dollar is accounted for. And we should be very transparent in so doing.
You mean every dollar we receive? Every
dollar we receive should be accounted for. For instance, if you get $350 million from the United States, we should be able to say that so number of schools have been built with this money. By that, we are encouraging them to do more because they have seen that the stolen money is being rechanneled for the benefit of the society. That is what they want to say, and that is why they have to cooperate, and that is why they will cooperate, because we are using the money for the purpose intended.
What you're saying does remind me of what Mr. Cameron said, because, when he made that comment about Nigeria being fantastically corrupt, he still had to defend that in the parliament, where he said that, you have to keep, because Britain has been giving up to £2 billion to Nigeria and Afghanistan, the countries that he described as fantastically corrupt. And the Prime Minister said that they will continue doing this because, if you don't do that, then the problems that we are facing will become their own problems at the end of the day. So do you encourage Western countries or developed countries to keep giving us aid, knowing that we're corrupt? Should we continue to receive aid, or should we work towards, just recovering our stolen funds and using them, as you say, to provide schools and provide basic necessities and so on? Should we discourage receiving funds and aid?
No, we cannot discourage receiving aid because it's an international phenomenon whereby the have gives to the have-nots. But what we should do is that we should not rely on aid as a survival strategy. Now, for a very long time, Nigeria has made it stand clear that we are not in need of aid, but we are in need of trade. So what Nigeria should be doing is to encourage investment, trade, in order to grow our national economy and also to improve our foreign reserve. So, you cannot totally say aid is not there because you have the aid is not totally coming from the government. Sometimes it comes from NGOs too. Yeah. So how do you want to discourage that? And when it's coming from NGO, it comes to another NGO in Nigeria to be used for rural community. So by that you cannot discourage it. But you should not rely on it as a means of survival. What you should do is to trade, grow your economy, and improve your foreign reserves.
Dr. Gani Lawal, thank you for joining us on the News at 10.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Vegetable consumption provides benefits which account for healthy living and invariably provides nutrients vital for maintaining the body towards maximum performance. Our committee report tonight focuses on the Jos vegetable markets, where traders converge to purchase all kinds of vegetables for onward transportation to different parts of the country.
Etisala, now you're talking.
Jos, the capital city of Plateau State, north-central Nigeria, is long known for its tourist attractions, unique and beautiful landscape, and temperate climate. A 25-minute drive from the metropolis is the popular vegetable market that attracts buyers from different parts of the country.
Take it to Onitsha, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, different places.
Strategically located in Sabon-Baraki, Jos South local government area, the building material market opens every Tuesday. Buyers can find a wide variety of vegetables ranging from carrots, cucumber, cabbage, peas, green pepper, tomatoes, beetroot, cauliflower, broccoli, strawberry, and many others.
It is this market I train my children. My source of income is from this market.
Where there is a market, there are challenges, the major here being security.
The market is conducive, but we have security problem here, because sometimes we used to hear that the Boko Haram will come and demolish the market, put their bombs so on. So we pray that the government will bring security, tight security in the market.
The thing is giving us headache now. No market. For now, like this green beans, it used to be like last week we sold this one 3,000, 4,500, but now it's 2,000, 1,500.
And of course, these vegetables are harvested from the farms, and the farmers who bring their produce from the hinterland to the city to sell also have their own share of challenges. One of them is storage.
Most of the vegetables, are perishable crops. Like in terms of cabbage, the way of preserving it is minimal. But in terms of tomato, at least we are trying our effort to see that we have a way of processing it.
We have taken steps to address the issue of storage and preservation. More so, you can see in agricultural production now, government is talking about value chain addition. We are not doing storage in Plateau State. We are not doing processing in Plateau State. Our produce just from the farm go out. We don't even have reputable markets that we can take our produce to outside the state.
And in a time where there are concerns over dwindling oil revenue, markets such as this vegetable market may hold a key to the economic diversification the nation seeks.
The scarce foreign exchange, most of the retail outlets seem to import the vegetables. They import strawberries, they import lettuce, they import kale, but some of this grow here. So how can we look at opportunities to develop this market that are available in Jos?
We're working towards a situation where we'll move it away from there to a more permanent site where we'll have enough space for truck parking and loading and offloading, and then the patronage generally.
The proposal and promises of a bigger modern market points in the right direction. But if the government is seriously exploring other means of income generation, Markets such as Sabon Barki must be transformed from just being sources of food for the local population to a formidable means by which the economy can be expanded.
Now you're talking.
Now to the arts. Coming Home is an exhibition of paintings and installations by Victor Ekpuk at Outhouse Space in Lagos. He uses signs and symbols, but popular in Igbo culture, to interpret these works of art. Our review tonight sees how it all comes together in his solo exhibition.
It's a full house. A sea of heads, all anxious to see these works done by contemporary artists. After an intensive artist in residency program with Art House Foundation, Victor Ekpuk exhibits the fruit of all that labor at the Space, Lagos.
What inspired the exhibition was my coming home for the first time in 10 years to do an exhibition where I actually come to stay and make the work based on my experience of home, so to speak, because I haven't lived here in more than a decade.
For the artist who lives in the United States, Nigeria is home, and home feeds his imagination. It has served him all he needs for this show. The idea of how people use the head, what goes on inside and outside it, interpreting it with inscriptions, the Uli and Nsibidi designs, which are traditional designs drawn by the Igbo people in southeast Nigeria.
What I'm doing with the series of work called Head is the African concept of head as that which predisposes our destiny. So when coming back home, I was struck by women, people carrying things on their heads. And I saw that as a metaphor for a much more general human condition, where we're always carrying things on our heads.
The artist's fascination for the head is seen in about 9 series done on acrylic, on wood, and on metal intriguing works. You can tell what it's about just by looking at it keenly.
When you look at the works overall, you can get the beauty, you can get the message, you can feel his direction. And, I always say that when an artist has a focus and he has a vision and he follows his vision, it enables the public to try to key into his vision, and that propels him to do more work.
The metal bending and crafting saw him work with a sculptor to achieve this, better appreciated in the Icon series, which is shaped like a human form with exaggerated eyes, painted mouth, and a few other body parts symbolically represented. The audience feels satisfied after feeding their eyes.
Victor's work is imaginative. He uses a lot of his feeling when he's making his work. There's stuff that's not conventional about it. So he will do things very creatively. He will use color and line in a way that is very spontaneous. And it's got rhythm, nice colors. It stands out, and a very exciting type of art.
The artist admits that the time spent at the Art House Foundation was a refreshing experience, an opportunity to tap into the ideas exhibited in this space.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Britain's Andy Murray and American Serena Williams win Italian Open titles in Rome. We'll have more in sports news. Do stay with us.